because you know how people are. Yeah. Hey, fellow riblets, it's me, Tom from Target Prime Rib. I'm here with a special guest today, Angela Mullins. I don't know if any of you guys remember her from when she was on Kilts, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Um,
She
she
was.
actually
My
she
phone
actually
was supposed
agreed
to be on
to
mute.
help me out, and she came on today. So thank you, Angela, for coming here. I appreciate it. We got a few people in here, and you probably recognize all of them. We have
Yeah, I
Rick
see Rick.
Mopar, Juliet Edens, Coach Edens, and then we also have George. Good
Hey,
enough for you.
George. Yeah.
So, and
Cool.
we're going to get more people. Don't worry
Hey,
about that.
Juliet.
There's always the regulars all come in here, and everything. Now, I know we don't really know each other that well, but and Evelyn just came here. So, or how Dustin from Keto Simple calls her Evelyn. And then we also have Gary No Slow. All right. So we got quite a few people listening. I'm going to actually start us off with I usually just mute myself, so then there's nothing to affect you. And hey, Bruce, how you doing? Welcome. And basically, I'm just going to have you tell your story and give you the platform. I usually set this for about 2 hours. That doesn't mean you have to take 2 hours. It's just how
Right.
much I mean, Gary No Slow. He actually did about 3 hours and 29 minutes. So, there's really no rules to it. It's just kind of like a guideline.
Right.
But you do what's ever comfortable. And if your little dog has to tell some of his story, her story.
Yeah, I
Go
think
right ahead.
he's just gonna take a nap on my arm over here.
Oh God.
He's kind of attached.
So Main Runner is actually saying hello to you and me.
Hello.
All right. So if any chats come up, please, Angela, I think she knows how to answer questions. She at least proved it on Kilts. So if you have any questions, put a QQQ in front of it. I'll try to catch it my best, and I'll put it up on the screen. And if Angela, if you don't see it, just let me know, and I'll let you know what it
Okay.
says. Okay.
Right.
All right. And every once in a while, I'll just raise my hand like, oh, questions on the screen. So just so you know. All right. So let's begin.
Okay. Well, my story, I can either give you the long version or the short version, Thomas. But my story starts actually when I was 4 and my sister was born. She was born with a very rare genetic disease, and so I got left with my grandparents a lot. So anyway, when I was 4, my parents were worried I wouldn't eat. So I guess I was skinny, and they were worried I wouldn't eat. I don't know what they meant, if I, like junk food, not regular food, or what, but they never elaborated on it. But so my sister went through 2 years of surgeries to correct her problems, and so I ended up staying with my grandparents a lot. And of course, I was my grandfather's buddy. My grandfather for lunch had pig's feet and sardines every day for lunch. So when mom and daddy came back from the hospital on one of their many trips, I was eating sardines and pig's feet with my grandfather. And by the time I was 2 years old, I was put on my first diet by a doctor. So that means they were worried about I wouldn't eat at 4, and then I was overweight at 6. And that diet was not bad advice. I believe I told this story on Kilts the other day, where it was like you could have one carb per meal. So, but when you raised up in the South of the United States, you have grits or oatmeal for breakfast. That's your choice, right? You have our grandma made homemade biscuits every day. She'd have corn, potatoes at the same meal. So you're 6 years old and you know you got to choose one of those. Everybody else is eating all of those. You can have one.
My
So
family, I'm sorry to interrupt. My family was cornbread and beans and fried chicken.
yeah,
So yeah, because my father was from Virginia in the South, like where
Yep.
Richlands, Virginia.
I'm from Danville, which is
Okay.
right in the south, right on the North Carolina line.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people tell me my accent sounds like North Carolina. Well, I grew up on the line.
Sorry about
So
that.
anyway, and where'd you hang out at? Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right.
There's nothing to do in Danville.
Where else is there?
So anyway, um, so all my life, my grandmothers were always overweight. My mama was struggling with those, few pounds, not overly overweight, but struggling with I need to maybe need to lose 10 pounds. So my mama and her mama would grab me and we'd go to Weight Watchers. Through my teenage years, my grandma did Herbalife, and I thought she was crazy. It was in '83 when it first came out, and I thought that is just crazy, ma. But in 2002, I became a Herbalife distributor myself. um, and they dragged, like I said, they dragged me to Weight Watchers. I was at school with Dillamil in my pocket, doing that. Just any kind of diet. Those crazy diets where you can have for lunch, you can have a piece of um pineapple with cottage cheese and one piece of lettuce, and that was it was like all these meals were planned out. This is what you do. All kinds of weird diets, and of course weight goes up and down, up and down. I was on the track team in high school, still weighed 165 pounds, which is more than I weigh now. Still couldn't lose the weight, but I know why now. My daddy would make banana pudding on the weekends, and he knew that if he didn't buy 2 boxes of vanilla wafers, I would eat them, and he wouldn't have any left for his banana pudding on Sunday. So he bought 2 boxes, one for me and one for him. So I mean, I know why now, but I was like, I'm running, I'm running in track, and I still couldn't lose the weight. So it's been an all lifetime problem. I just turned 60 in August. So, and even on carnivore, the weight just doesn't want to go away. But I know that you know, my main thing is health. Like I said on kilts, I don't take pain pills anymore. I used to take um oxycodone every night so I could sleep because the pain would be so bad it would keep me awake. I do have a high tolerance for pain. I'm not pain free, but I don't take anything. I only have one medication. I was taking thyroid medication, and my doctor decided it wasn't helping me, so she took it off, took me off of it. It wasn't because I don't need it; it's because it wasn't doing anything for me, and it wasn't worth the side effects. So, um, and I've always wanted to help other people. That was the reason in 2002 I became a Herbalife distributor. I lost 97 pounds doing low carb and Herbalife, and thankfully I haven't put that back on. I'm still less than I was in high school, so I would like to be 10 pounds lighter, which I was about a year ago until my son's 40th birthday, and he decided he wanted eggnog for his birthday. So I went the whole week trying different eggnog recipes, and I gained 10 pounds, and I haven't got rid of it since. So, and I've been playing with my macros, how much fat, how much protein, and I'm just still trying to zero that in for myself because that's going to be different for everybody. So, then we just finished the course, which was really great, and I'm working on the second one with PhD. So I'll have both of those in March, and hopefully that's when I'll actually start my business because my business will be my retirement plan because I figure I'll never be able to not work. I'll have to do something. So, and I always wanted to be a business owner. So this would be my chance. As long as so something doesn't happen and I'm not here, then I don't have to worry about it, right? So, do you
Yeah,
have any
no, that's
questions?
absolutely true.
Do you have any questions, Thomas, or anything you want me
Me
to
personally,
elaborate on?
no. I'm looking. Sometimes my riblets are very shy, so they'll come up with questions, but sometimes it doesn't. It's not right away.
Come on, George, you gotta have some
I
questions.
know George, Juliet, both of you. Come on, you know. And if you have questions for her dog, that's fine too.
Yeah, Ted's my service dog. I have
Okay.
Ted, so if something happens to me, he could get somebody's attention to hopefully help me. And I do have on my medical alert bracelet that I have a ascending aortic aneurysm. So the medics will hopefully know, do not give me CPR, just get me to the hospital as fast as possible. Oh, George, you are not. George is definitely not shy. Oh, come on, Julie.
Juliet.
We know
Now,
they aren't
now you
shy.
guys are imitating me when I do Zoom calls.
I'm not shy doing Zoom calls, but like during our class, I was at work and I work in a situation where we're not allowed to use cameras, so I just had to have my picture on the screen. So if anybody was ever wondering about that, why I never had my camera on, I wasn't allowed to have my camera. I'm not allowed to have my camera on at work.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, no, I'm not really, to tell you the truth, I'm not really shy with Zoom calls. It's just there's so many people that are newer than I am, and I just want to give them a chance to be able to
yes,
tell to be able to go on and talk. And like I'm part of SBG, part of KMT,
right,
and part of Hailing Humanity. And SBG is probably the worst one where it's like so many new people come on. And it's just like I've already been there for 10 months. I've already you know. So if they call on me, then I'll definitely go up, but I
right.
just don't volunteer it as much.
Yeah, I joined the SSBG from I think it was June, July, and August when they had the
Okay.
90-day challenge because I wanted
Right.
to check out what the priming protocol was to
Okay.
see how that worked, and I was there during that time, and their priming protocol reminds me a lot of, yes, I am doing another live tomorrow, George, with the Sunday school
Oh,
class.
okay. That's a lot of fun. You're going to have a great time.
So so their priming protocol reminds me of Dr. Livingood's metabolism reset
Mm,
because they're both working at like you making your body wonder what you're going to be doing from day to day.
right.
You might have 3 meals one day, 2 meals one day, 1.5 meals another day, fast another day, skip a few days, fast again. Just like it's like you're making your body wonder. You're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so I could see how that would fool your body, so it wouldn't be expecting whatever at a certain time or
Yeah.
so much in one day or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought they were really I was seeing what George was saying.
He's saying, thanks, Angela. Just checking. I lost track. Steph's the expert.
Oh, okay.
Like that's
So
George. That's why you made her the secretary, and the person that knows everything. Then for you. Okay. So
yep,
we all know
that
we all
works.
know what our places are in life.
So so yeah, I've been in Dr. Living Goods group since I think they call every month a crew. I think they're in month 773 or something. I joined back in crew 11. So if you take 73 minus 11, that's how many months I've been in his group. I like how he handles things too. So but I'm in the PhD and Dr. Kiltz and Two Crazy Ketos. Two Crazy Ketos, their group is really active,
Yeah.
really active.
Well, that's why they have the name
And
Crazy Ketos,
and I like that because it's because it is active.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go in Dr. Kiltz's group and I'm like, okay, I saw that. I saw that yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I used to
maybe
watch Two Crazy Ketos, but then when I became fully carnivore, I sort of stopped. Um, but I still watch them every once in a while. They pop up. Um, so Juliet is asking you what type of YouTubes do you enjoy, if any, and that aren't keto carnivore or not watching my channel, of course.
well, Dr. Living Good's not keto. I mean, he's low carb, but
Right.
um and then right now I got YouTube on the TV for Ted. They got Dog TV, which is classical music, and it's got scenes like oceans and like woods, like you walking down a trail and stuff like that. So I think it's calming for him, especially when I'm not home, because I work a lot of hours,
It's what I listen to when I'm trying to get to sleep.
and so so it's supposed to help with separation anxiety, which this breed of dog they say has separation anxiety. So I try to see if I can temper that a little bit.
And Julia just said that she watches for dog TV. She watches cat TV.
Yeah, yeah, and even Sirius XM has dog and cat channels
Yeah,
for
yeah. I
them.
actually watched a cat
So,
cat channel one time, and all it was like birds like chirping around and everything.
but one's on Sirius XM. Both of them play Class House of Music, so I'm like, I don't really think they're that much different. It's just one's called cat, and one's called dog.
Oh god, yeah. I remember one. My mom used to love. We used to have birds here. We had a few parakeets, and my mom used to love to watch like these channels with parakeets and everything. And
Mhm.
there was this one with a cockatoo named Vinny that just kept on going around like cursing at everybody, and it was just the way like he
Oh,
had like he had that New York attitude.
okay.
Which, hence the name Vinny.
All
So,
right.
but when you hear a cockatoo doing it, it's kind of fun. Like the owner would be like, "No, you can't have that box." And like, rah, 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 rah. It's like, I'll take the box if I want to. You can't stop me from taking the box. It
Yeah,
was funny.
I am supposed to fast on my schedule. I'm supposed to fast tomorrow, but I just cooked a whole lot of pork belly and bacon today, so
Yes, you got to
I'm
have
thinking
that.
about putting it off until Tuesday.
I was going to actually fast today, but then I'm like, no, I just defrosted a couple steaks, so I can't waste those steaks. So I
I
gotta have.
wasted a whole bag of steaks. Whole
I can't.
bag of
I can't. I'm not
steaks.
there yet. I can't do that.
I mean, I got a delivery in the mail, opened up the box, and I put everything away in the freezer. I thought. Several days
Oh,
later, I go get the box to tear it down, to take it down to the dumpster,
and it's
and
still in
it
there.
had a bag of steaks in there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So,
Yeah,
so,
that would make me very sad.
so it was 4 steaks I had to throw away. That was
That
disgusting.
that that would be. I mean, if it was a cake or something like that, I'd probably be okay with wasting that. But
Yeah, but
steak,
not steaks.
not
I mean,
steaks.
that was terrible.
Um,
So anyway,
I'm sure you made
um,
up for it since then.
um,
So Aaron Booby Goats is here in the building. I don't know if you know who Booby Goats is, but she has a pretty fabulous channel. And so is Sandy. I know Sandy, you've been here for a while now, but
yes, 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 Sandy. That's what I felt like crying, wasting 4 steaks. I mean, that's
I,
terrible.
Angela, I'm crying right now just by hearing it.
And Ted is such a picky eater. Kelly Hogan recommended this raw dog food,
Mm.
So I ordered it for him because he's so picky, and I got it. And sometimes he'd eat it, sometimes he wouldn't. I found out if I cooked it, he would eat it. So what I figured out now was I figured if I dehydrated it would kill less of the nutrition in the meat instead of cooking it. So I take it and I put it in my dehydrator and dehydrate it and he eats it. So now I figured out how to get him to eat it and not, not waste it.
Yeah,
So
no.
so he is carnivore and I had to go buy my cat some more chicken today.
Oh, so
Cause
they're
I
both
got,
carnivore, cat and
I
dog.
got, I got them. I got one of them at least eating raw chicken. The other one is still, I'm still working on her.
Okay. So we got a new person in here, or at least for me. You probably wouldn't realize he was new, but Nikki Silver Stacker is new in the channel. So welcome, Nikki. We welcome you with open arms. And Larry Ryan, welcome back. Thank you for coming in again. Um, God, you're bringing a lot of people here, Angela.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So.
But I got a lot of challenges still. I have, what I know of is 3 aneurysms that I have
Okay.
right now that they have found, and they're going to be searching for more on the 23rd. So if anybody prays, I'd appreciate it
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if they're going to find any more or not, and then we'll have to figure out what we're going to do from there. I have a 45 millimeter aneurysm right above my heart on my ascending aneurysm. I have two in my head. One of them's on
Oh,
my left optical nerve. So, my doctor says, if your eyesight changes real quick, go to emergency room. If you feel like if you have stroke symptoms, go to emergency room. I'm like, well, that's without saying, right?
right.
And so, and I said left eye because that's where the aneurysm is on my left optical nerve. He said either. And so I figured next time I go to the eye doctor, I'll ask him why would it affect my right eye if it's on the left optical nerve. I thought
Okay.
that was strange.
Well, Sandy and Evelyn both just said that they'll pray for you.
Thank you.
Um, I'm not a religious person, but I will definitely pray for you. And
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, my grandfather died of a brain aneurysm. He was 49 years old.
yeah,
So I'm thankful for every year that I've been here past
yeah. I
that.
remember my mom's friend's brother-in-law. Actually, he was like 45 or something like that. And he was about to go fishing with his kids, and one day he's just in the bathroom, and he just it happened, and
Right.
he passed away,
But my
unfortunately.
grandfather was supposed to leave, was catching a plane that day to come and see us. He lived in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and he was gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like one of those things like where it's just you expect it, it just happens a lot of times,
Yep.
and it's scary. So
Yes.
I'm glad that you're with us, and I'm going to pray that everything is fine for you and everything. So because I want you to be able to come back on here, or going on other people's channel. If you're going on, Sunday school is going to be a lot of fun. I did that a few weeks ago, and I had a great time with that. So.
Yeah.
Um,
And most people, even Dr. Berry, the other day, I caught what he said. He said something about, yeah, you got to keep your blood pressure down. But my aneurysms were not caused with blood pressure. I don't
yeah,
have high blood pressure. They were caused because I have connective tissue disease, and it's a form of EDS that affects your circulatory system. So it's not, except for diet. What else can I do about it? There's nothing. So It's so. I mean, I've had nurses. It's funny. I went to the doctor before. Nurse checks my blood pressure and she says, "Are you alive?" Because my blood pressure was so low.
That's really bad.
And I was like, yeah, I'm alive. I'm awful tired, but I'm alive.
I,
Because I was
actually, that
exhausted that
reminds me
day.
of a funny story that my grandmother used to be very, very paranoid, I guess you could say. And she was always afraid my grandfather was going to be dead, like without even telling us, you know. And he used to fall asleep all the time. Like he was one of those people that had the cigarette in his hand and he'd fall asleep on the chair. You don't know how many cigarette burns he had on that chair. Like obviously no one would want it,
Right.
you know. And a few times she would actually take a mirror under his nose to see if he was actually breathing. So, as a joke, he knew that she was doing this. So, as a joke, what he did was he'd hold his breath. So then there'd be no nose breaths. And she'd start panicking.
Mm.
So,
I,
we,
I,
we
I
had
mean,
that kind of
I'm
relationship.
sure, I'm sure every family has some crazy stories that they can tell.
And he'd like wink at me and my sister, like. That was a long time. That was a
Sorry,
long time
Evelyn.
ago. It's weird. I was just doing the math the other day.
Um,
He'll be 120 next year when he went, you know, if he was still alive. So that's
oh, okay. My grandmother is 97. If she makes it to next month, she'll be 98. So, but of
God bless
course,
her.
if I'm in the shape she's in, I don't want to live that long. I don't want to live like she is, you
No,
know, you know,
yeah, I mean,
with she's got what they call sundowners. If I go see her in the morning, she knows me. If I go see her after 4:30, I'm her grandson. She knows I'm a grandchild at least. She remembers that. But then I'm her grandson if I'm there after 4:30.
yeah. My other grandmother, she had Alzheimer's, and we didn't really know what the connection it had with diabetes back then. But
Right.
um, and I didn't really know her that well. Like my parents got divorced when I was 7, and the next time I saw her, I was 13. So that's how many, you know. And after that, I didn't see her ever again. And one day, our aunt's talking to my mom with me in the room and my sister in the room, and she goes, "Yeah, she's doing pretty well." But she everybody that she knows is a child. You know, they're like they're in their 50s and 60s, but they're all like to her they're 10, 8,
Right.
you know. And the only person she remembered, and this is a weird thing, okay? The only person she actually remembered exactly who they were was her son-in-law.
Hmm.
She knew exactly that she knew that he was married to one of her daughters, knew which daughter it was, but yet thought of that daughter as being 8 years old.
Oh.
So it was like, well, how do you explain an 8-year-old girl marrying a 50-year-old man? You know, like isn't that illegal to have that happen? And she's like, I don't know how he's getting away with it. You know?
Mhm.
But that was the only person she actually remembered. It was sad but weird at the same time. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Evelyn said her daughter and she were diagnosed with EDS. Um, Evelyn, I think my youngest daughter has it also because I think she has the one that affects your joints because she has many times dislocated her shoulder. I mean, doing nothing. So so I wish y'all well. I mean, there's a lot. There's like 12 different types of EDS, and I don't know if any of them are interrelated or they just go down their different streams. I really don't know. Thank you. Ted actually needs a bath. his goal in life is to stay as dirty as possible, and my goal, like I said, is trying to keep him clean. But most of the time, he wins.
Ted's a smart dog. Yes.
He's a Bichon. He loves going out into the cow pasture, and he comes back and he gets a bath.
That sounds cool.
So
So
he'll find anything in the yard. He'll smell something and something that stinks, and he'll go and roll in
of
it. That's
course.
just, or he'll go to the edge of the road where there's some dust, and he'll roll in it and just be as beige as you can imagine. Because we got red clay around here, so he gets that red clay all over him, and he's not white dog anymore.
Well, maybe he's trying to change his color, like dye his
Yeah,
fur. Yeah.
trying to
So,
make his fur match his feet.
yeah. So, Rick says that he knows a lot about low blood pressure. Yeah, Rick. I think I can agree with that. He
Oh,
has his blood
Sandy,
pressure is really low all the time. So,
Sandy's got a question. She asked what kind of a dog is Ted. He's a Bichon.
oh, okay. Sorry about that.
So yeah, I've actually had a trainer when I was first trying to find a trainer to help me train him say, I am not training that hard-headed white dog. And I said, well, I'm hard-headed too, so I'm training this dog.
I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see if I missed any questions. Nope, I don't think so. Okay.
That's interesting. You see what Evelyn said? She said that she met her son-in-law as an adult for the first time, so she never knew him as a kid. So she's remembering him as far back as she can.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Her other son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws. They just were new people. They didn't even exist to
Mhm.
her. So yeah, it's still weird that she still remembered him. It wasn't like like other people. Like my mom, she didn't know. She had no idea who my mom was. She's like, oh, you're some stranger coming into my house. Like who are you? You know.
Well, my grandmother doesn't know my children, so
Yeah.
but she does know me if I go early enough in the day. But she doesn't know my children. She doesn't know my youngest daughter at all. So and my daughter used to work at the nursing home. My daughter's a nurse, so my daughter worked at the nursing home that my grandmother's in, and so she would go see her, but she didn't tell her who she was.
So how many children do you have?
I have three.
Okay.
I have 12 grandchildren. I have a stepdaughter. My
Okay.
youngest daughter is still trying to have children. So that's why I gave her Dr. Kilster's phone number to
If
talk to
anybody
him.
would be good at that, it would be Dr. Kiltz. Yeah.
Right. And so we'll see if I get any more. And then of course my oldest granddaughter, which is my stepdaughter's daughter, she's the oldest and she just got married. So maybe she'll have a baby and maybe I'll get to meet it one day. Who knows? So
Well, you know who they just announced it on one of the Zoom calls. Lynn, um, midlife carnivore, Lynn DeVokie. Okay.
right.
Her daughter. I guess I think they went to the Kilts as well, and he helped them. And she unfortunately she thought she was having a baby for the first time, had a very hard time, and then had a miscarriage. But now we just found out that she is pregnant again, and so hopes and prayers for her.
Mhm.
That but I think Dr. Kiltz is helping her out as well. So yeah, I mean Dr. Kiltz is amazing. I have to.
My oldest daughter has six. The two youngest ones are twins. She did lose two along the
Okay.
way, so that was hard. Um, but yeah, and my son has five. I told my son that after three, I was like, that's enough.
No more.
But he didn't listen.
No.
And his third was actually we call her his miracle baby because my son had testicular cancer. And the doctor told him he wasn't going to be able to have any more children. And that's when the third one came around. And then he had two more after that. So
Well,
doctors don't know everything, and we all know that.
no, no. I think I think pretty much most of our lives have been proven that doctors do not know everything. So that brings up a good question. You said your daughter's a nurse. How does she feel about the way you eat and stuff?
She doesn't have an opinion. She
Which is sometimes better than.
she is known that I eat low carb forever,
Okay.
and I mean I also have celiac, so there's a lot of stuff so I can't have that type. I can't have anything with gluten in it anyway. And my daughter has problems with it. And her son has celiac. Her oldest son has it. So, um, they eat gluten free because most of the time because of him. And my daughter doesn't eat, a lot of bread and whatnot either. So she eats she's clean. I mean, I wouldn't say she's keto. I wouldn't say, she's definitely not carnivore, but she eats decent. She doesn't eat a sad diet. So and I've eaten, low carb for years. Like I said, in 2002, I was eating low carb, and that's how I lost 97 pounds.
All right. All right. So,
So
hello, New Horizons above and beyond. Welcome and thank you for coming.
welcome.
First time here. I'm not sure if New Horizons is a male or female, but it doesn't matter. I
Right.
like that you're here no matter what. Um, and Sandy's welcoming as my carnivore mother. Sandy is welcoming all the people. Um, it's sort of like a family here, in carnivore, if you think about it.
Right. Right. Everybody supports each other. I
Yeah,
mean,
in one way or another. So, um, yeah,
one of my autoimmune diseases is my last test results were great. I mean, I was actually surprised. I have autoimmune disease that affects my neutrophils, which is a white blood cell. Type of white type of white blood cell. And I had to go to oncologist because they thought I had leukemia, and they were going to schedule a bone biopsy. Thankfully, the neutrophils came back up before they did the biopsy, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna hold off." And he told me, he says, "You be sure you get your doctor to check your neutrophils. To check when they do the CBC, do the CBC with differentials because it checks the different types of white blood cells because my white blood count's always low, and it's still low. But the neutrophils, he said, if it drops below a 1, you got to come back and see me." I've kept it at a 2 for a while, and last time it was checked, it was a 6. So I was actually trying to remember. I'm like, had I been sick recently to make it go up that high? Because it was actually on the high side. But I was like, it's been 7 years since I had to go to oncologist. So
oh my
I
God,
think that's really good.
yeah.
I mean, now if it's a 6, I definitely don't have to worry about it going below a 1 again. So I'll take that as a win.
Yeah. So Evelyn's asking if you have a channel.
I don't have an active channel yet. I do put some stuff on what is it? Instagram, but it's mostly Ted videos when he's out there with the cows.
And
Because the
whatever
cow,
brings people in, you know.
because the cows will lick him. I think it's the funniest thing. The cows will walk up to him and lick him. Well, Ted doesn't go out there as much as he used to. When the mother cows started having their calves, they get real protective. One of them tried to throw Ted over the fence one day, and so Ted doesn't trust them anymore. And I'm kind of glad he does.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, so
Six
this is
up,
not a
but
question, but
good grief, George. I can't imagine. That's a litter.
oh my god! All right. So I wish I was seeing more
Of
questions. I'm just trying to look now for any humor. Um,
course, my Facebook is mostly so I can keep up with family, 'cause that's what I use do that one.
okay. Yeah, I mean that's what my
So,
Facebook really is. I do have a lot of people from the carnivore community that's in my Facebook thing, but Facebook was really more for my family than
yeah.
anything.
Well, once I decide what I'm going to call my coaching business, and when I get that going next it'll be next year, then I'll start I'll start another channel with that name or whatever. And so, but I really don't know what I want to call it yet. I
Yeah.
kind of keep thinking of something with my personality. I ride a motorcycle. I have a motorcycle ministry, um, and I'm also a black belt. So trying to think of the different things. Like I think it's neat that Roxana calls hers Kendo Keto. I was like, that's just kind
Okay.
of cool, Kendo
Keto,
Keto.
keto.
So I mean, and then I might just use my name and just put Coach Angela or something. I haven't
Yeah.
decided yet.
Yeah, I haven't really decided on my coaching journey either. I kind of want to
Oh,
still like learn a little bit more, but
oh, Evelyn, no, I do not have cows. I live next to a dairy farm. So they have cows that will not stay out of my yard. That's been over here messing up my well. And I think they think my well is a salt lick. So I need to come up with inventive ways to keep the cows away from my well. A friend of mine said, "Yeah, cows are really inquisitive." So he suggested I take some old tires and put them around the well to block them from getting to it. But I really don't want old tires in the yard, so I'm trying to figure out something else to keep the cows away from my well. Because if they mess up my well, that'd be a very expensive problem.
and
Yeah, I used to have MeWe too, New Horizons. I haven't been on there in a long time.
MeWe is. I'm trying to think what MeWe is.
It's kind of like another Facebook, but it's different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah. I used to have MeWe too. I won't figure out who was on it. The reason that I went over there to follow them or whatever, and I just got away from it. I got busy with my job, and it takes a lot of hours, and I got away from a lot of it. I used to spend a lot of times on Facebook. I don't anymore. So even some friends have commented, "You don't get on Facebook very much anymore." I said, "Nope, I'm busy with life."
So Bruce Frazier's asking. I just completed a 72-hour fast. GKI 1.7,
What's that?
glucose
Okay,
72, and ketones 2.4. I
cool.
lose weight easily, but only lost zero point 0.2 during fast. Is this common? Is the rest of it?
I usually lose more than that when I fast, but of course I find it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
What if like
So
whatever
if
you
you
lose, like 3/4 is going to come back?
if you keep it off, that's not a bad thing. If you lose point 0.2 when you keep it off, that'd be wonderful. But I think is I'll fast for a day or two, lose 2 pounds, and find it again.
I think the longest I've ever purposely fast was 5 days. So, um, and then, but normally I do the intermittent fasting. I like pretty much just have like a 4 to 6 hour eating window, and then I
Yeah.
pretty much don't eat for like 18 to 20 hours. There's
Well,
more.
you know, some people saying they don't like Facebook, but I just keep it to keep up with with family. I got 2 cousins. One had prostate cancer, and other one's dealing with it now.
Oh, okay.
So I try to keep up with them and what's going on in the family, because you know when the monarch dies or is unable to get people together, you just don't get together anymore.
No, that
My
is absolutely true.
For my birthday, my son contacted one of my cousins and got them to come to dinner for my birthday. So at least I got to see him, and he's the one dealing with the prostate cancer, and that's what his dad died of too. So so I was glad to get to see him. We used to work for the same company, but we don't anymore. And right now he's on leave because of his cancer.
And Bruce said that he
Yeah.
did fasting for therapeutic healing
Yes.
of
My
upset.
my my
I did it for
my
my gasparesis. So yeah,
my daughter has epilepsy, and I keep trying to convince her to at least try carnivore for a little while to see
yeah,
if it would help her epilepsy. And so far, I have not convinced her,
no,
but I keep trying to.
yeah. We probably all have at least that one person in our lives that we think the carnivore would really benefit to. You know, I mean,
Well,
I
how
know I have somebody. But
well not
you can't
well the,
lead a horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
right, the medications don't help her. They
No.
don't help her migraines.
Oh,
They
same
don't help
thing.
her
Yeah.
epilepsy. So I'm like, change your diet. Try to do something. She went several months she couldn't drive, and she works an hour away from her house. So her and her husband had to change their schedules so he could take her to work on his days off, and then work on the days that she didn't work. So so he would drive an hour, take her to work, hour back home, then an hour to go pick her up, and an hour back home. So, that's a lot. That's a lot of driving. That's a lot of travel, and so, but she's back driving now, which is good. But it's like medication is not the answer, and they treated epilepsy for years with the ketogenic diet. She doesn't have to cut out everything. Just do away with
Yeah.
the junk food.
Yeah.
Do away with the bread. Just
Yeah. Just by eliminating the bread and the sugars,
yeah,
it's amazing in itself. That's what I did when I first started. It was like breads. Like I just pretty much was like, do I have to have a burger with bun? Do I have to,
right,
like? And if I did have to have something with a bun, guess what? I didn't have that.
right,
For some reason, like I couldn't have a hot dog without having a hot dog bun. It just to me was sacrilege. So I just
right,
stopped having hot dogs.
right,
But then eventually I had hot dogs and I was able to do it without the bun. But
right.
funny that we talk about epilepsy. My grandparents actually, when I was a really little kid, their dog actually was epileptic.
Mm,
And you don't really see that very often, or at least you probably do see it more often than you would think. But every night the puppy's name was Tippy, and every night he would go to my grandfather and nudge him awake, and that was for him to go, and he would actually go outside and have his seizures. It was like
mm,
almost like he knew that he was going about to have a seizure. So I'm not sure what drug they gave him for it. I mean, I was literally like 7 when that was going on. So George is saying something about plenty of top carnivores on FB, including Dave Mack, Carrie, Alia, etc. Yeah. No, I mean, and you're on FB too, right, George? And so is John on FB. So yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, my daughter doesn't have those major what do you call them, seizures, where you fall down and stuff.
Oh,
She
okay.
has what you call colonic jerks.
Oh.
Her teachers would ask me when she was in school, said, "Oh, she has a seizure. What I do?" I said, "Probably duck." And they said,
Get
"Why?"
out
I
of
said,
the way.
I said the worst thing that's going to happen is she's going to throw a notebook across the room or a pencil or you know.
Pads the place up.
So watch out for the flying notebooks and pencils.
So how old is your daughter now, if you don't mind me asking?
She's I don't want to make her older than she is. I think she's 28.
We'll leave it at that.
She, I know she's not 30 yet because she says if she has children, she wants to have them before she's 30. So I know she's not 30 yet.
Well, God has a plan, right? Or
Yep.
the universe has a plan, right?
If anybody really wants to calculate it, she's born in 97. So,
All right. So Rick is just putting a question mark to duck. I know that was
duck.
an actual question.
Yep, duck.
Well, you know why he's doing that?
Quack.
Because he's the duck man.
Yeah, quack.
Duck man and iguana boy.
Yep.
All right. So
I used to have an iguana.
did you?
Yep, sure did. My mama would call and say, "Hey, is a lizard out?" Because she wouldn't come to the house if he was out.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had an iguana as a kid too, but never grew, and died before.
Oh, he was huge. And of course, my husband pulled his tail off. He hated the kitchen. And I guess Rick will say, "Yeah, I know why he hated the kitchen." But he hated the kitchen. And my husband brought him into the kitchen. And I said, "Don't bring him in here. He don't like it in here." And he took off running. He ran out of his arms and took off running. And he grabbed him by the tail. I'm like, "Don't grab his tail." Too late. And of course, he had the tail and the iguana was gone. So when it grew back black. So you had this green iguana with this black tail. But he grew about, before we found somebody else to take him, he was probably 6 foot. And we had an old house. It was built in 1919. So we had always were doing work on the house. So we had, ladders set up in the house, to reach the ceiling, replaster the ceiling or whatever. And he just loved to climb up those ladders and just sit at the top of them and look around. That was his favorite thing.
In 1919, wow, that's.
Yep. It was a 2-room house in 1919. It's real funny because we would have contractors every once in a while come over, and they would look at a door and say, "Huh, that used to be a window." I'm like, "Yeah, it used to be a 2-room house." And then they added on to, in the last addition was the master bedroom, which was added on in the 1950s. And of course, we've had beautiful harder pine hardwood floors, and we had them all sanded and refinished them. They were beautiful.
It
That's my
sounds beautiful. It really does.
That's my favorite part about that house. But electric bills were horrible because you had no insulation, and so.
If those
But
walls could talk, right?
oh yes. Oh, and my children always swore the house was haunted.
It probably was a little bit, but
And I said, well, if it is, they'd all be related,
yes.
because the house was passed down mother to daughter. It wasn't
Okay.
father to son; it was mother to daughter.
Oh, okay.
And um, I bought it from my aunt, which was my daddy's brother's wife, and that's how we ended up at the house. So but it was from the time it was built, it was passed down from mother to daughter. So I told my children, I said, well, if they all if it's haunted, well, they're all related. So don't worry about it. And I actually had my nephews would come over and spend the night, and they would get so in the middle of the night. I don't know if my children told ghost stories or what and scared them. Middle of the night, they want to go home. So who knows?
So Aaron's saying something about, yep, that checked out as an ant. So I'm not sure if there was something earlier in the chats
Yeah, I don't. I'm not
or
sure
it's
either.
connected to what you just said, but I'm not sure how that would be connected.
Rick said he had iguana for dinner.
Well, Rick always has iguana for dinner, so that's what he's known for, you know. All right. Well, Bruce, thank you for coming, and
Thank
same
you,
with you,
Bruce.
Larry. And I will
And
see
good
you.
luck to your daughter, Bruce.
Yeah. I'm not sure
I've
what
got
I'm not sure what you say to gymnastics, but
um
I don't think they count as acting, so I don't think break a leg would be a good appropriate.
no,
So tell her good luck.
I've
um,
actually got some friends that their granddaughter competes in gymnastic a lot. I mean that they'll travel up to New York and all, to competitions, and I don't know how in the world they do it. I'm busy enough.
my mom got me into gymnastics for like 1 year. So if you could imagine me actually doing cartwheels and you know, I don't know if you can imagine me actually doing that stuff, but yeah, there
Well,
was
if
a time.
you were a kid, then you know.
Yeah, I was probably about 9 when she convinced. But it was more my sister that was in it, and I guess my mom wanted to make sure that we both had something to do, and I wasn't really into activities that much, so it's just like,
I tried to get my parents to let my sister take karate with me, and they never would.
you know,
My mama would say, I told you she had surgery sometimes. She was real little till she was like 2 years old, and my mama would say she'll bust her stitches. I'm like, Mama, she don't have stitches anymore. It's not like her scar's gonna bust open.
no. Oh god. So people, I'm seeing a lot of comments, but if you have any questions, like I said, maybe Ted can answer some of these questions.
This is he gonna take a nap.
And how old is Ted?
Ted will be 2 on the 18th.
Oh, so he's still young.
Yeah, he's still a pup.
He's still a pup. That's good. Yeah, I think my sister's dog that I'm going to be taking care of in October, in November, I think she's like 3 months now.
Okay.
So she's starting to get big, but she's not getting the full shape yet. She's actually a German Rottweiler, so she's going to be
Okay.
huge. But
I've had labs my whole life. My last dog was lab pit bull mix. Smartest dog I ever had. We were outside one day and he was sitting beside me, and I looked at him and I said, Tucker, you're falling down on your job. You're supposed to keep the cows out of the yard. He rounded up the cows, ran them back into the pasture, and came back to me. I was like, you knew exactly what I said. because I never trained him to do that or anything like that.
Hmm.
I just told him, I said, you fall down your job, you're supposed to keep the cows out of the yard. And he went and round them up, ran them in the pasture. I mean, way up in the pasture, and came back. I was dumbfounded. I was like, wow. And but he died September before last. And then I decided I want another dog, and the doctors had told me I couldn't lift anything heavy. And when he died, I had to get help to pick him up, to put him in my truck, to take him and take him to be cremated. And because I couldn't pick him up myself, because doctors told me, don't you dare, you could bust that aneurysm. So I decided I wanted another dog. So I decided I wanted a smaller dog. So I got Ted. Instead of being 72 pounds like Tucker was, he's 18. So I can tote him around, no problem.
So
Oh, more
CB
wrong time zone. Okay.
and
Oh yeah,
CB,
you're CB. You're in Central Time, right?
yeah, and just to let you know, CB, I live in New Jersey.
Good to see you, CB.
It's always good to see CB.
And so CB knows two of my husbands were deputy sheriffs. My first husband was a deputy sheriff. He died in '97. My last husband was a retired deputy sheriff. Was also
Oh,
on SWAT.
so they
So
would have a lot in common with CB then.
so so yeah. So I always thank the law enforcement when I see them. I say two of my husbands were deputy sheriffs, so I like to thank you all for your service. Well, I got a story about that. I was in Sheets one day. I thanked one of the officers for his service, and I said I'd like to thank y'all because two of my husbands were deputy sheriffs. And he says, well, if they're ex-husbands, they must not have been very good. Well, I was really offended by that assumption. So I'm hoping I made him feel like this tall. I said my first husband died in '97. My last husband died in 2018. It
Mm.
wasn't like they were ex-husbands.
Yeah.
They died.
Mm. I'm
And
sorry
so
about that.
I'm hoping after I told him that he felt that tall, because I was thanking him for his service and he basically put me down.
Put you down, right?
And you know, and so I'm hoping
Yeah.
that he, would later think before he spoke.
Well, I mean, I doubt he would think. I doubt he went to later thinking before he speaks, but hopefully, at least that moment, he felt a little
Yeah.
guilty. You know,
Mhm.
I mean,
It's just like,
we'll assume he did, and for that moment,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The um it's like the other day. I got out of I bought a car about a month ago because my truck has 302,000 miles on it. And so I was like, well, I think I'm kind of pushing this, especially driving down to Florida to visit my daughter, driving back and forth. So I said, I'm gonna keep my truck for a truck for when I need a truck, but I'm for going down to my daughter's house. I'm gonna get me a car. So I got a Dodge Challenger, and I got out of my car, and of course I park in the handicap, and I put my handicap, thing on the dashboard. And I get out and I turn around and look, be sure my door's locked before I walked in the grocery store. This bag boy walks by and says, "You wish that was your car." So I'm looking at him, I'm like, "That is my car." He's like, "Oh." he said, "Well, have you seen the new Charger that's gonna come out in 2027?" Trying to change the subject real quick.
Oh my god, it reminds me of those Darman videos where it's like, there's no way that you own that car. Like making assumptions.
I told I I had to take it last week to get oil change. Normally I change my own oil, but I don't have any way to lift that car up. My truck I can crawl under it and change the oil, no problem. But with this car, it's no way. I mean, it's that far off the ground, right?
Yeah,
And there's no way I can get on under there.
I can't
And
say.
and so um so I took it to get an oil change, and shoot, now I'm getting myself sidetracked where I was going with that.
Welcome to the club.
But anyway, I'm sure I'll think of it again. But it kind of slipped my mind after going back over that.
So George is talking about his wife Lainey, that she was widowed very young. I inherited two lovely children, so I guess they're his stepchildren, but that's cool. Yeah, I actually have a step. My mom and dad both passed away, but my stepmom is still alive, and so is my
My
sister.
my two oldest children are by my first husband, and then I got married again, and that didn't work out too well. But I did have another daughter with him, and then years after that marriage, I found what I would say right now was the love of my life, and we were married 2 years and 2 months when he died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that I'm glad I'm not married, because I don't know how it would be if I had to go through that. So, but that's just me.
Yeah, my children lost their father. My son was 12 and my daughter was 6.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
So
It's hard. Loss is hard no matter who it
yeah.
is. So, okay. So, okay. So you've been on my channel, obviously, because you're here.
Yep.
You're going to be on Sunday School next week, and
Yep.
you were on with Kilts.
And I
Was
was on
there
Dave
any other
Mack
channels you've
twice.
been on that
I was on Dave Mack twice.
Oh, Dave Mack. Okay. All right. So
Mhm.
you and me have the same record, because I was on Dave Mack for the second time the other day. So
Mhm.
it's cool.
Yeah, I keep hoping I'll have something miraculous that I can go back on there and say, "Hey, this happened finally." um, but that's what I said. My main thing is I'm doing the carnivore for health because I do have the autoimmune diseases. I have 5 of them. So that's the reason I do it. That's the reason I stick to it, and to me it's just simple because I don't have to think about a lot. You know, I might have to think, okay, what have I got in the freezer downstairs? Do I want hamburger? Do I want pork? Do I want chicken? Do I want, whatever. But I just go thaw something out, cook it, and you know, it's just simple, especially with my crazy schedule.
Yeah. I think the only reason why, I mean, I don't think it's the only reason, because he invited me a long time ago when I was ready to be on. And I did some improvements. Like I got my A1C from 8.9 to 6.2. So I think that was enough of an improvement. But the week before that, I actually had him on my channel. So I think it was like sort of like one of those things, which is pretty good. It was a pretty good interview. And but when I was interviewed by him last time, he didn't. I guess he took it out, which I'm glad. But he actually, for some reason, I was having a bad habit of banging on the desk, like knock on wood. And
Yeah.
he's like, can you please stop banging on the desk? Like right in the building. So I don't think he put that in there. I think he took it out.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, I just got yelled at by Dave Mack.
Well, see, that's one good thing about him pre-recording it, right, and
Yeah.
not doing it live.
Yeah, I know. But I
It,
was like, oh
it
my God.
it's like the short that he put out of the stuff that he cut out of when he was interviews because they kept trying to start and he kept laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, eventually I probably have to do recordings too, but it's just a lot less work to just do the lives
Right.
and be like, this is real people, like we're gonna make
Yeah.
mistakes. And so
And
Miss Laugh a
and
Lot says that she loves your accent.
thank you.
Um,
I've actually gotten arguments with people about my accent because, of course, I used to work for the French, and I told them I didn't have an accent. They did.
well, in a way, that's true.
But there was a lady when I was in college the first time. When I was in college, I worked security. Security is if anybody's a college student, tell them get a security job. It's best job for a college student because you might work 20 minutes out of the hour and you got the rest of the time to do homework. So it works great. So anyway, I was working security and I was walking through the plant that I was guarding and I went through the office area and this gentleman was up there working and he brought his wife up there with him. So his wife and I got in a conversation. And she's like, "Where are you from, Louisiana?" I said, "No, I was born in the hospital right here." And she says, "No, you were not." Yes, I was. I was born right here. And it was really funny because my son was a toddler at the time. And I took him to the park one day. And I was talking to this lady from New York. And she says, and I was talking to her about it. I was like, I got an argument with this lady at work the other night. Said she thought I was from Louisiana. And she looked at me and she says, I said, I was born here in Danville. She says, what part? Because she had noticed that she had been in town that different people from different areas of Danville had different accents. I said, next to the airport. She said, yep.
Oh my God. Oh.
But yeah, I always picked on the French. I'm like, I don't have an accent. You do.
Well, I mean, I'm going to admit that I love your accent because it reminds me of my family, my father's side, on that side. I mean, my mom came from New Jersey, so obviously she didn't
Okay.
have the, but my aunts and uncles, which I don't see, well, most of them are dead now, but it reminds me of my stepmom and stuff like that. So it's the only reason why I relate to it,
Right.
But yeah, because
Well,
like
well,
we
because
here in
you
Virginia, you
know
think of
this
Virginia
area
Beach and
too.
stuff, but
Yeah,
they
Virginia
live
Beach
more.
is a different animal.
Yeah, they live more like the coal mining country. They actually live in Richlands, Virginia, where the
Okay.
coal mining is. I remember as a kid, even really really young, I remember like waiting like in the car 2 hours, like playing games, and you see the coal train like just pass by. Like it took
Mhm.
like almost 2 hours for the whole thing to go past, and it was just like I remember waiting and waiting. Like I guess when we were kids, we had to have patience because we didn't have DVDs back then and stuff
Mm.
to
Yeah.
hold us.
Yeah. We were camping in Christiansburg a few weekends ago. We had 9 people in a one room cabin.
CB says he has no accent either.
Oh, George says
I
not
put that up
not
because I
me.
just want to make
Yeah,
sure I read
right.
that correctly.
And then George says nor me.
Or me. Two totally. And George also says here, I'll put it on the screen. I used to do 2 Dave Max a year. I'm down to 1 a year now. Can we all
Okay.
say nepotism? Because I don't know too many. Either it's because you both are Brit from Great Britain, or it's because you both wear the same hat. So either,
Yeah, the Dr. Nelson that.
yeah, all three of you all together. That would be an interesting thing. The three guys.
Yeah, I usually I a lot of times I wore my Western hat so often. I've actually had friends tell me they don't recognize me without my hat. Of course, my hat's not in very good shape anymore. I need to go back to the Howling
Yeah.
Games and get Connor to shape it for me because he's the one that made it.
Oh,
But
okay.
so there's a Connor owns a company called Connor's Hats, and it was real funny because I picked up a hat when I was buying it, put my hat, I'm like, Connor, you got one that fits because it was too big. And so he took that away from me, picked up one, put it on my head. I'm like, yeah, that works. I mean, he didn't even have to guess at it. He just grabbed the right one, put it on my head. I'm like, yep, that works.
That's funny. That's funny. So just let you know, I'm having a good time. I hope you're having a good
Yeah,
time too, Angela.
yeah. My cats are behaving for a change. Maybe they're taking a nap.
Are we boring them so much that they
No, I think it's just that time of day when they normally take a nap. And Ted most time will sit in my lap anytime. Unless I'm trying to brush him, then he runs away. 'Cause he needs to be brushed every day, but he doesn't enjoy it.
what kind of cat is it again?
Oh, the cats, they're just tabbies. They're
Oh,
just
okay.
regular house cats. When I'm,
Sometimes there's those long-haired cats that are very hard to brush.
well, this is the one that has to be brushed every day. It's Ted.
How is Ted with brushing? Like, does he? It's like there's a YouTube channel that I watch. I guess I get bored, and it's like the only non-carnivore YouTube channel I really watch, other than Marvel and Marvel or DC, and it's called Girls with Dogs, and she's like a dog groomer, and there's some dogs that even like the sight of the brush just freaks them out, Just
Mm.
so is your dog pretty good with the brush? Like,
He tolerates it to a certain extent, and then he runs away. Um, he I have watched some dog groomer channels because I tried to groom him myself. And most of the time I do good, and sometimes I'll cut him. I'm like, you look lopsided. Of course, he doesn't care.
no.
but but he's really good when I do trim his hair, cause he gets up on the dining room table, and he just lays there. It doesn't bother him at all.
That's I
So
mean, yeah, I mean, he seems like such a good dog right now. Just, I mean, I
the
figure you either jugged him or he's being
the
very good. Yeah.
the only problem we have is I have a granddaughter he adores, and when she's here or she's anywhere near him, even when we're out in public somewhere, it's like, he's trained, but training goes out the window when she's around. He'll bark, he'll jump on her, he wants to be with her. He cannot be far. If I'm holding him, I have to be right next to her. He just can't stand it not being right on her. So he has picked her as his person.
And how old's your granddaughter?
She's I think she's 8.
So she's at that perfect. Okay, yeah.
So it's like she is his favorite person.
Oh, that's cute.
And when we went camping, a couple of the church services that we had while we were camping, I had to take him out because he wanted to be with her so bad he started barking, so I had to take him out because he was interrupting the church service. So, but most of the time he's really good. I took him to low carb for better health. He stayed in my lap the whole time. They were taping the sessions, and we were sitting in front of the camera. I was like, "Oh, please don't bark." And he stayed quiet the entire time. I didn't have any problems with him. I didn't have to take him out because he started barking or anything. So I was thankful for that. He did really good.
Oh,
Well, he did bark at one little girl and scared her half to death. And I apologized to her and her mama. I said, he's not mean. He just gets excited sometimes because he's a puppy.
of course, and yeah, yeah. I know. Like my sister's dog, I took care of her for one day for the first time, and first she was like, "Who are you? I'm not going to accept anything from you." And then I guess she realized that she was going to eat if she didn't eat what I made her, you know.
Mhm.
But you know, I guess you realize like, okay, they're not coming home right away, so I need to eat his food then. And I gave her like even though it's not carnivore, I gave her a doggy cookie that I got her for peace, you know. I actually live right above a chocolate shop. I don't know if you know the story or not, but
Oh
yeah.
no.
So yeah, I live above a candy shop. I don't really eat the candy. I just have
Right.
coffee there, but every once in a while I'll give them some business, and you know I figure oh they actually make dog cookies, so I figure I'll get a dog cookie for the dog. So
Okay.
you know anything to make my sister happy. You know, I mean my sister's dog happy, and then
Yes, Sandy said her brother was her poodle's favorite
yeah.
years ago. My daughter always got mad because whenever I bought her a dog, they would end up being mine.
Yeah, I would. We're allowed to have cats here, but I just right now I'm just on a budget and everything, and I just can't
Right,
afford to, I think of the worst case scenarios, like just a habit I have, and if I have to take it to a vet or something like that, how am I going to afford vet bills and stuff?
right, right.
So, and then also
Because
too, it's like I'm just now that I'm starting to work again, I just want to be available for that, you know.
right,
So,
right.
but
And
I'm
you
sure the
know,
cat would actually benefit my roommate, but I'd be the one taking care of it. So, um,
and the thing is, cats are much easier
oh, they
because
are
you just get
clean
them
the
a
litter
litter
box.
box and feed them and clean their litter box and they're happy. They don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I still might consider it, but I'm going to wait until after I take care of my sister's dog because I want to
Right,
be sure.
right.
Mm. But
Well, I say Ted thinks he's a cat because he lives with two of them.
well, it's funny. We used to have a dog that we thought hated other animals, and she was a good dog, but she just always kind of like whenever she see another dog or another, she just bark and bark and bark and growl, you know. So we thought like, okay, there's no way we can get another animal, and she was part German Shepherd and part Beagle. So and she favored the Beagle mix. So you can just imagine what she looked like, you know, and a cute dog. And my sister decided one day to get a baby kitten, and for some reason, as soon as we got that kitten, we thought it was our dog was going to attack it, and like not attack it, but just like be angry that it was there. And no, the cat was like hanging on her. She got caught on our collar chain and everything, and she was just hanging around, and the dog's just like walking around with it and playing with the cat and all that stuff. And like it made our dog go from like 16 years old to about like 10, like 5 years old.
Well, stop. I don't know what he's barking at. I thought it might be somebody delivering a package or something.
So what time is it there?
I don't know. Almost 5:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay,
Yes.
so you're not that
Same
far.
same time. Yeah, we're in the
Yeah.
same time zone.
Okay. For some reason, I'm thinking. I guess from talking about Central Time Zone before and everything. I guess I was.
No, but because of what CB said.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, yeah, you're in Central. You know,
So anybody have any questions for Angela? And Angela, again, thank you. You actually helped me out quite a lot by coming on here today. So
no
I
problem.
my original guest,
I just
she,
decided
she
to
she messed with
remind you
the
you
phone.
were supposed
So
to email me when we were on the
what was that? I'm sorry.
on the app.
Oh
Well, when you said you were looking for somebody, and I was like, well, you were supposed to email me, and I haven't
yeah,
seen the
I
email
don't know
yet.
how that got. I don't know where the confusion went because I'll be honest with you, I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. It was just like, okay, I guess this is the one beyond. But then when you answered, after what happened was I was supposed to have another special guest,
Right,
and what I call them targeted guests because of my name, Target Prime Rib,
right.
and then she texted me right before I went on to WhatsApp, and she goes, "Can we postpone it? Can we do because I'm very very sick with COVID." And
Mhm.
or I'm still very very sick with COVID, and I said yeah sure, and I didn't know what we are going to do. If no one responded on the WhatsApp, I probably would have just been like, okay, either I have to cancel or I'm going to have to just do it on my own, which is fine in itself. I'm sure I would have had somebody like Rick or George would have come on,
Right.
but you answered, and I appreciate that, but yeah, originally we were supposed to plan for you to be, I mean, actually in a way this works out a bit though, because if we did the other way, the earliest I would have been able to have you come on would have been like beginning of December. So this way we at least you were able to come on earlier,
Right.
which, because it was like sort of like let's fill in the space for no October,
Yeah.
and so I do thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And you know
And the only other thing that was supposed to do today that I had actually forgot was
oh, I'm
we have
sorry.
this gentleman that lead our motorcycle rides that we do for the veterans, and he was killed in a motorcycle accident
Oh,
a week ago. And so his funeral procession was today, and we were supposed to ride in it, and it had slipped my mind.
I'm so
But
sorry.
it was at 2 o'clock, and I said, well, if I went to that, I wouldn't get back in time. So,
Well, I would have totally have understood if that had happened.
so but it was okay. I'm sure we had enough representatives from our chapter show up to
That's good.
ride, and I know our president was going to ride to the to the cemetery, and then he was going to stop outside the cemetery, let everybody else go in, and he was going to leave because one of his grandchildren had, I think it was a birthday party this afternoon, so he had to get back for their birthday party. So
Okay. Well, we've actually been on for about an hour and a half. So,
yeah,
and the only reason why I know that is because I have the clock right in front of me of how long we've been live. So, and I know, my viewer count just like went from like 16, 18 to 9. So it dropped like immensely. So, looks like there is actually a Robert Kiltz is live right now.
uh,
And so I'm not sure if maybe that might be why we lost a few people. So I
maybe.
hope, I mean, you know, um, I mean, everybody, we have so many people in carnivore that we're bound to bump heads a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, because she can't keep up with everybody's
No,
schedule,
you
and
can't.
I'm surprised Kills is live right now because I'm like,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know if he
it's
usually
probably
goes
Dr.
live on
Nelson actually
Saturday night.
talking. It's just
That's
they put
yeah,
Kiltz because it's his channel.
right, right.
I mean, he's like the main monarch basically. And so, but I had a great time today, um, as I always do. And I
Yes,
hope you guys are able
this
to
is
come.
Olive.
Hello, Olive. Are you named after the color?
Well, my the two cats I have came from my son's house. My son's cat got pregnant and had kittens,
Okay.
and my son said, um, I had actually adopted two kittens from the Humane Society, but ends up both of them were sick and both of them died. So then my son's cat had kittens, and they were up. My son was visiting over here. One of the girls said, "We gonna ask grandma. We gonna ask grandma." I'm like, "What?" My son says, "Give her time. She just lost the other kittens." So, um, so give her time. Give her time. So then they brought me these two cats, and they just turned 3. But they brought me the two kittens, and my son says, "This is Georgette, and this is Oliver." Okay, saying boy, girl.
Right.
Well, then I looked at my son and said, "Oliver is a Olive." So thankfully, they were both girls.
Oh my God.
So that's how she got the name Olive. It's because my son had named her Oliver because he thought she was a boy. And I said, Oliver is a Olive. So that's how
Olive.
she ended up with that name.
That's cute. That's cute. I mean, I have a pretty wild guinea pig story, but it takes a long time. They basically to do the shorter round. We got 2 girl guinea pigs. My mom wanted 2 more, so we bought 2 more. Thought they were told they were girls. They ended up being boys. Had them in the same cage, so we ended up with 10 other guinea pigs.
Ah,
Then we got rid of those babies, and but we couldn't get rid of the male guinea pigs. And the rule is you can't separate them from their mom until they're about 3 weeks. Like it has to be like right on the dot of 3 weeks. And um, it was enough time for the baby guinea pig to impregnate the mom. So,
oh,
well, I doubt it was actually the mom because it was 2 females. So I'm sure we don't want to think that way, but but in no time, then 4 more were born.
mm,
And my mom was like, at that point, she's like, "Can't we just get like separate totes just in case?"
yeah.
And so we had like about like 6 totes, 2 male, 2 female, and then each one had the baby. Each one had their own. We got
Uh-huh.
dividers for each baby,
Right.
and like I actually got one of those great big like cabinets, and I like sealed it up and everything like that, and I actually put dividers in the cabinets, and
Okay.
that was each of their pens. So, yeah, I guess I was sort of creative, but yeah,
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
and everything. So I think I have a picture of what it looked like, so I'll show it sometime. But yeah, it was pretty.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I said about the car. Somebody asked me about when I went in to get the oil change. The woman said, "Did you leave the keys in the car?" I'm like, "I don't trust anybody. I'm not gonna leave keys in the car." I said, "Just like when I take my motorcycles to the Harley shop to be serviced, they ask me, are the keys in the bike? No, I don't trust anybody not to try not to steal the car, steal the bike."
The swipe.
And then the woman says, "Yeah, I wouldn't trust anybody with that car either." And I said, and then somebody asked me about my motorcycles, and I said, well, I said I took my husband's motorcycle and he died and turned it into a trike. I still got my Ultra and I have my daughter's Kawasaki. And so somebody asked me, would I sell my trike? And they said, how much you want for it? I said, too much. I mean, to me, it's sentimental, right? But
Right.
I do have over $53,000 invested in that bike. So I'm definitely not going to give it away.
No, nor
And
should you.
and I also told them that I got a lot more money in that bike than I do that car. I mean, I paid 22 for the car,
Right.
so it's 3 years old. But it's just like it's just I don't I mean people a lot of people are like, oh, ain't nobody gonna steal it. You don't know that.
No.
I mean, you just don't know. I mean, it might not happen, but then a year later something happens. I mean, just, I mean, a lot of people say I should lock the cars when I'm at home, but the county I live in, thankfully, we do have a low crime rate. I'm in Appomattox County, so thankfully we do have a low crime rate here because everybody knows you don't break in anybody's house around here because you can get shot. Yeah. So so the crime rate's low. Of course, we don't have many deputy sheriffs, so if we make a phone call 911, you better take care of yourself because you know it ain't not gonna be a while before they get.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, my brother-in-law is a retired policeman, so I know a little bit. I don't know a lot, but I know how it is to have family as policemen. So
Mhm.
um, I was actually a little jealous when I found him retired because he's 2 years younger than I am. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you're retiring before you're 50. What a
Mhm.
jerk. Like
Yep.
I sort of stopped working because of my foot and because I had to
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to go back to work because if I do retire, I'd rather retire because I wanted to, not because I was forced to.
Right. Gosh, you have to. Right. Mhm.
And to me, 53 is a little young to be retired. So, um, but then again, he's 49, so I really can't say that with him. But he had,
Right.
being a policeman is definitely a lot of stress and a lot of hard work.
Yes,
I,
it definitely
I
is.
definitely,
My
think,
son, my son had to step down from being a deputy sheriff
okay.
because of his health. He has a pacemaker, and so he basically got pushed out because of his health.
So,
And so now he's a uh what do you call the officers, probation officer.
oh, okay.
Bad thing is probation officers make less than deputy sheriffs do. When you have 5 kids,
So he
it's
stepped
not
down.
not a good
So
situation.
weird question. My brother-in-law, where we are at, we don't have sheriff. We don't really have sheriffs like deputy sheriffs or
Right.
anything like that. We have like more of the ranks of like captain, lieutenant. What rank would a deputy sheriff be considered?
Well, but they also have the ranks within the sheriff's department.
Okay.
My son was a sergeant.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, my brother-in-law got up. It was kind of ironic. My two ironic things happened with my brother-in-law. He went all the way up to lieutenant,
Mhm.
and and he told my niece and my nephew and me as well because I was there in the room, eavesdropping, and he told them that he didn't want to go to captain because he felt captain was too political. Like you had to work with the mayor a lot, you had to do this,
Mhm.
and he's like lieutenant gets paid well enough that I get paid the maximum of what I want to have, and so that's what he did. But what made it really weird was back when he first started, um, he wanted to do 5 years in Brooklyn. Okay. Because he found out or he heard through the grapevine that if you can do 5 years in Brooklyn, once you get back to Point where he lives, you can pretty much write your ticket, you know. And but the ironic thing is he already made it to the highest level that he wanted to go to,
Mhm.
even
Right.
without going. Because he obviously didn't go to Brooklyn because my sister says if you want to marry me, you're not going to Brooklyn. So obviously he chose, and I think he's happy with the decision because now, 21 years later, he has 2 kids. My niece is actually right now. We're really proud of her. She's actually in France going to school.
Mm.
So I'm proud of both my niece and nephew. I'm very proud of them.
My uncle was a lieutenant with the police departments, with one of the police departments in South Carolina. Well, we went and visited him one time. He showed us around the jail, and he talked about some of the kids that would get in trouble during the summers because they were taken better care of in the jail than they were at home, and at least they got meals and they got different things that they could have, that they wouldn't have at home. And we decided we were going to go out to eat. Well, he put me and my sister in the back of his police car, and we went down the road, and of course he had to show off and turn his lights on for us and speed down the road a little bit. We pulled into, I think it was Hardee's. And we pulled in, and he opens up the back door, and we get out there. I bet you everybody's eyes were this big.
Oh, wow.
I think I bring the inmates in here to eat.
That's okay. That's really funny. Yeah, I remember. I won't get into the details too much, but I remember I was actually arrested one time, and which I'll talk about some other time, but because it was kind of a bogus reason, but I'm sorry. But I remember the back of the police car was like so small, but in retrospect, I was pretty big at that time. I was probably like an extra like 100 pounds at that time, at least. So I used to be about 379 at one time. So, but it's a story for another time because this is your day, not mine. So I don't want to get too much into detail.
Well,
but next this Saturday. Wait, today's Saturday, right? Yeah. Okay. I get my days so mixed up; it's not even funny. Tuesday. I actually do these things every 90% of the time. I do these things every Tuesday and Saturday. There are a few adjustments here and there. Like I have one guy that I'm going to have on in a couple months on a Monday, and Lynn is actually going to be on Friday. Lynn Devoki.
okay.
But my next guest is going to be George. Good Enough for You is going to be my next guest. So I look forward to that. I hope everybody else does too, including George.
I'd like to get over there where George lives one of these days. My grandson actually contacted me a while back and says, "Grandma, when we going to Scotland?" I think he wants me to take him to Scotland before he gets married.
Okay.
He's getting married not this December, but the following. And I told him if we went to Scotland, we were staying in our castle. And I said, "You want to know why I want to stay in the castle?" He says, "Why?" I said, "Because it's rumored to be haunted."
And what do you say to that?
He was like, "Okay." The Davidson Castle is actually a hotel now, so yes, you can go there and stay. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
cause we're Clan Davidson. That's why I
That
love
sounds pretty cool.
going to the Highland Games. I used to participate in the Highland Games until my doctor told me I couldn't lift the caber anymore, and I had to stop.
Mm. Yeah, if you do that, you should. Oh, Aaron's live. Okay. If you do that, you should. I know you don't have YouTube, but you should record it for your Instagram or your.
Oh yeah.
Show some of the videos and stuff. That I think that'd be a joy to see.
Yep. Yep. Sure will.
I really do. Because I remember when I was a kid, we went to this place called Thousand Islands, and it's in Canada. Part of it goes into New York and stuff like that. And we didn't go to all Thousand Islands. I mean, can you
Right.
imagine that, doing a tour of 1,000
Yeah.
islands? But one of the islands was a big island. Some of them were really small. Most of them were really small. But this one was big and had a huge, old-fashioned, like 16th century castle. And it was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah.
All right. See you later, George.
Yeah.
He says he's got to go.
He's got to go and upload his video. Yeah, I just uploaded my video while we were talking, George. I don't know, why can't you multitask?
I need y'all to tell me what video editing software is the best one to use and stuff like that, because I have no clue.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to George on Tuesday about his interview with Dr. Kiltz for two reasons. One, I want Dr. Kiltz to be on my channel, and two, I just want to see how it went.
Right.
But So
Yeah, that's some of the stuff that I want to learn. When I get my business going about editing software and
mhm.
I know you use StreamYard. Some people use Zoom, and
Normally
I
I
don't know
don't.
the advantages of.
Yeah, normally I use a company called EVMux, EVMUX. But for some reason, when I tried to put in for me to do a live stream with you, it
Right.
wouldn't let me do it. So I had to switch over to StreamYard. So
Okay.
you're special. You I had to go StreamYard for you. But normally I do, you know, even though that's sort of limiting me, for some reason I can't go over. I can only go up to 2 hours, and that's the max. I kind of like that little buffer.
Mhm.
Um, you know. And he says that Anne Wright, beautiful Thomas, you're right. I'm still here. I'll put you guys on the phone. Did I actually pull off a mom move and make you feel guilty, George?
Maybe.
So I thought only moms knew how to do that. Like, you don't want to come visit me on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Not that, mom. Joey's sick. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, because I've tried some things, trying to like take my granddaughter's ballet recordings that I got and try to edit them, and I haven't found what software that I like to, handle stuff like that.
it's hard. I mean, I tried doing my stuff on the free versions because I'm a cheapskate. No, I was kidding. Because I just try to value my money as much as possible. But sometimes, if you really want to grow and stuff like that, sometimes you gotta put a little bit of payment into it.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like I put my money towards the memberships as much as I can.
Mhm.
Because I not only am I part of Kilt's SBG and hello Dustin, how you doing? Not only do like SBG and in Healing Humanity, and I can't really count SBG because SBG is actually free because a long story, but they pretty much they valued my story so much that they actually gave me a lifetime membership.
Okay. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, and so I tried being committed to them, and if they asked me to do something, I tried doing it as best as I
Right.
can. And but I'm also part of Homestead Hal Carey's personal
Mhm.
channel, and I'm a member of Aaron Booby Goats, and I'm also a member of Mitch, so Old Guy Carnivore.
Right.
So you know, so Dustin's asking how I am. I am Dustin. In the words of Mitch, Old Guy Carnivore, if I was any better, it would be illegal. So, so, um, so again, I hope you had a good time today.
Yeah.
Was it what you expected or no?
Well, I wasn't sure at first what to expect, so I saw when you were sitting, you and Stephanie were talking the other day. I watched that one just to see how you usually do. That's what I was trying to see because I really at first I was like I really didn't know what to expect. So and then you and Stephanie had a good conversation. I'm like okay,
Yeah.
so
I mean, it's still sort of rolling the dice still because different people are different. We're different personalities, but I had a good time. I think we did pretty well. I think Stephanie just has like one of those like, I think she can like talk to a bulldog and be fine.
yeah,
That's why
yeah,
her and
yeah.
George get along so well.
I think she can you know jump from one subject to the another and just
Yeah.
keep going and I'm like okay what we want to talk about next.
Right. And I'm sort of the same. I'm sort of the like I'm usually pretty quiet. I think carnivore actually made me more outgoing to be able to do these lives and do these
Well, my
channels.
second year in college brought me out. I was always shy and always just the one listening to other people's conversations to see
Right.
what was going on, but I didn't talk much. My second year in college, I was in this class. Nobody was talking. And everybody's sitting there wonder where they're from, wonder who they are, wonder where they're from. It's going through people's mind, but nobody's talking. So I stood up and turned around and said, "Hey, how y'all doing? Where you from? What's your name?" And got everybody talking.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess it's a gradual thing, but in high school, I was very, very quiet, hardly ever talked at all. And thank you, Jemmett, for that. So I think this one's very good, and I think most of my lives are good. But I think it's because of the people that come on here. I don't think it's anything that I do. But I appreciate the compliment. But yeah, I was like very quiet in high school and grammar school. But then as soon as I started doing sales, which is probably why I like doing the tuxedo sales so much, even though I haven't done it in like almost 10 years. But for 25 years I did it, and it's something I sort of miss because it brought out but I think this is a good substitution for that, just being with the groups and just being able to talk and stuff like that.
Right.
But and it's good to tell your story, like I find the reason why I like doing these lives with other people telling their story is because I found it very therapeutic for me. So my hope is that it helps other people and makes it therapeutic for them as well, because like no one wants to be no like I was sort of like when I had my issues, like when my toes were removed and when I had my spine and all that stuff, the worst part of it was people were shutting me up. They wouldn't let me talk about how I felt or talked about
Mm.
even the counselors that would go to the rehab were like pretty much telling me to be quiet. And I I just didn't want I just wanted to be the guy that prevented that from anybody else. So that's the only reason why I
Right.
kind of do these.
Right.
But
Well, that's like some people say, why you want to be a coach? I'm like, well, I've always liked helping people.
yeah.
That was one reason I became a Herbalife distributor. It wasn't that I thought it was gonna be a get rich quick or something.
Yeah.
It was, I thought it could help people.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why I studied for the coaching course. I mean, it was sort of like a few people, like a few of my riblets and Alia were like, you should really do this. You should really. And I'm glad that people told me that I should because I'm glad I did it. I just don't. I'm just not at that point yet where I feel like I want to charge money for it and stuff like that. It's just how I feel. But like if anybody asks me a question or something like that without giving medical advice and stuff, I'll try to
Right.
help out as much as possible. But I'm
Exactly.
not going to really expect any money from it, at least not yet. Right now, my sister actually, for the first time, it showed that she actually watched one of my videos, and which is really unusual for her. And she sent me a text and she congratulated me on graduating. She's like, "Are you a coach now?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, yeah, technically, I guess." And she's like, "Oh, congratulations and everything." I go, but I told her, I said, "Like, right now it's just in my back pocket, because right now I get disability,
Right.
and I can only make the max of hours I can work is like 20 hours a week. That's the max. So my boss actually, because he knows that sometimes people are late coming to work, this happens. So right now he's just giving me 18 hours. So then that
Mhm.
way I have a 2 hour cushion, and which is great. But then I'm going to be doing a ticket to work program starting in January, and that will be, which is one of the reasons why I'm actually taking a hiatus from doing my lives and stuff like that, because I just want to kind of like focus on the working
Mhm.
and stuff and focus on getting my body better. But once I do that, if I can last for about, I'm not sure if it's 3, 6, or 9 months. I'm going to assume 3 months. If it's longer, then great. But as I build up, if I'm still working all those extra hours, then my benefits will probably go away. But I want to get
Right.
up to 40 hours,
Right.
at the very least. And George just said that I will send you a group photo from our mini meetup at a restaurant near Steph's house. I'd like mini meetups. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that, George.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that'd be awesome.
That would be very, very cool. That'd be very cool. Um, maybe once
That's
I
cool.
figure out how to do when I go to the I can share it when we have our talk on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. That Jemmett.
Oh, Janet.
Oh, it's Janet. Okay.
No,
Um,
Jemmet, like
Jemmett. Yeah, Jemmett. Okay. Um, said they were late because they were helping the elderly, helping some elderly.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. We were talking about that, Jemmet. I don't remember when we were talking about that, but I know we were talking about that because when I was in rehab, like I'm only 53, and obviously I was about like 49, 50, about from the starting point, and I would see people in there like in their 60s, 70s, 80s. One guy was like about 95 years old, the saddest thing in
Hmm.
the world. And obviously I think of my grandmother when I see this,
Right.
you know. But he kept on yelling and yelling and yelling because he needed to get out of there so he could pick up his son from high school practice. And like the nurse was like, "Your son was just here, but he's not going to high school anymore because your son is like 75, and he just his brain was just, you know it's sad because he's like walking
Yeah.
around, and and they're a whole different place too. That's what makes it even worse. It's like he's not even in his own environment. He's like in a whole strange place. So you know
Right.
and half the time these people too, people just feed them the junk food.
Oh
So
yeah,
they
that's
don't
all they
have
give up there.
they have no idea what they're, and like Mitch, he was like, in a way, like he was, what happened to him was horrible, but in a way he was lucky that he at least knew what he wanted. He at least had his,
Right.
and he had his son that would be able to advocate for him, and Dr. Nelson obviously I think would help him too when he wasn't able to do. But
Right.
when you have like people like your family that like I love my sister, I love my family, but I know if I was back in the rehab again, they would tell them to feed me the junk food
Right.
because they wouldn't know, they wouldn't realize that you can't do this,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
and everything. So I'm going to just look at something really quickly. So if I disappear on you, I apologize. Nope. Okay. I just got an email, so I was seeing if that was George that sent me the email.
Mm.
So whenever you want to, George, that's fine. I'm not. I just was wondering, since you mentioned it, I thought maybe I'd see if that was the email I just got notice for. Nope, it was from Steak and Butter Gang. They do a thing every. I don't know if you ever been part of Steak and Butter Gang, or did you say you were at one
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. My
you
friend.
did. You said you did
Yeah.
the 90-day challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think right now, or at least in an hour, is going to be the NSV challenge.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. Right now, I don't
I
have
was
anything
listening.
medical NSV. So
Yeah, I was listening to the NSV. I painted. Um, the bedroom used to be my youngest daughter's bedroom, and I was listening to the NSV while I was in there painting.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's just it is reassuring to hear them. But I mean, like, my believe it or not, right now my NSV is you. It's the people that come on my channel and stuff like that.
Right.
And as much as that's an NSV for me, I don't feel like they really want to hear it. Like, it's like sort of like, well, what does that have
Right.
to do with, So I
Yeah.
just kind of stay. I'll write in the chats, but I just stay away from it, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm supposed to be doing something. I can't really talk about it too much because it's an experimental thing, but I'm supposed to be working with them on something. So That has to do
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
I talked to Dr. Baker on there, and I talked to Dr. Avadia on there. I saw Dr. Avadia at Low Carb for Better Health, and when I talked to him on SBG, he assumed that my aneurysms were from high blood pressure,
Right, which you
and
said a lot
so,
of people do. Yeah.
and so when I saw him at Low Carb for Better Health, I basically talked to him and said, you shouldn't assume somebody has an aneurysm, it's high blood pressure, because I don't have high blood pressure. I have EDS. He's like, oh, you know, oh, okay.
That's
So, but they make assumptions because, probably what 90% of people who have aneurysms is because they have high blood pressure. So, but
yeah,
mine's not.
yeah.
Mine's not. I'm an exception. So, so but you shouldn't assume.
Yeah.
You assume it gets everybody in trouble. Hmm.
So Gemma is actually saying about how CB is a hero because he helps other people, which is true.
Yeah, true.
Um, and like earlier, I told Gemma, like, like, it's great to be able to take care of other people, but
Thank you, Jim.
make sure you're taking care of yourself too. Like, don't forget about Gemma. And but
His
I think
Jim. His name is Ted. He's my service dog.
oh yeah, yeah, because Gemma came in late, so.
Yep.
And some other people said this too. The name Ted. That's such a cool name.
Well, it was like I thought I'd get two dogs, but then I decided to turn him into my service dog, and I'm like, well, I don't need two dogs. Can't afford two dogs. One dog at a time's expensive enough. And so I thought about because a lot of people name them Teddy or or make it more prestigious and name him Theodore. um, I thought of it one time. Okay, I could get two and name one Teddy and one Bear. I used to have a Labrador named Bear,
I like that teddy bear. Yeah.
and yeah, and so when I got him and I got his AKC paper, so I was like, hmm. And I was like, do I want to say Theodore and put Ted beside it, or
Right.
So I just Ted, TED, Ted.
Keep it simple.
Of course, when he's outside doing something, sometimes I'll say Ted Davidson. He gets a second name then. And he just looks at me like whatever.
Well, just like Ted, totally awesome, totally excitable dog, or totally excellent dog. See,
He's
he's
a
looking
good
up
boy.
now. Like, what do you say? What do you say?
I don't think he can hear you.
Uh,
I don't think
no,
he
I
might.
really, even if he could, I really doubt he'd understand what I was saying. But
Well, I mean, he would look like what's that
yeah,
noise or whatever.
as long as he helps you out in whatever ways you need, right?
Yeah, yeah. He like I said, hopefully he'll he'll remember. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to bark, get somebody's attention. Mama needs help, and but who knows what he'll do after that? He might run away. Who knows? He might stick by. He might even disappear. So I don't know, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how we found how animals can be to help in so many ways that other than just seeing eye or
Well, that's like we always wanted to get a service dog for my daughter because of her epilepsy.
right.
Because they can sense when you're gonna have a seizure.
Yeah,
And so
I mean that would make sense. I mean, I was a security guard like you were, for a local mall, and we had this one case, because I didn't know this at the time, but I guess you don't really like if like you don't have to show your, like, at least here, at least where I was at, if a person says they have like, they don't have to show proof that the dog is
well, there is none. There is
right.
no proof.
Well, like papers or anything like that.
There is no papers. Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's probably why they don't have to show it. But how hard would it be to make them up?
True.
But I guess this woman kind of knew because he was supposed to be a hearing impaired dog to keep her out of danger.
Hmm.
And I'm driving, like, it was about a few hours later, like they were in the mall, and it's like, okay, whatever. And because at the time we were told that dogs weren't allowed in the mall, and we had to tell her that the dog couldn't be in here. And so she's like, oh, it's a hear, I'm deaf and I can't hear, and it's for me, like, I'm partially deaf, so it's for me. So we're like, okay, fine. That's when we found out that the proof did not have to be shown. And because, like I said, we didn't know at the time, and I'm driving outside, and like all of a sudden the dog runs out right in front of me. And I'm
Oh,
thinking to myself, like, okay, this dog is not protecting her from getting hit by a car.
right,
It's literally pulling her into the car.
right. Oh,
So it's like, are you sure he's a hearing impaired dog? Because
right.
either that or he's trying to kill
My
himself. He's killing
I
himself.
I actually told my vascular doctor, I said, I'm training my dog to be my service dog.
Right.
And I kind of expected an argument because I figured he was going to say, oh, you don't have to do that. But he actually said, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing that. And he told me that if I ever needed a note from him, that he would write me a note. He said, but the only time you usually need it is if you're going to go on an airplane.
Right. Right.
You know,
But still good to have. I can't agree. It's
if
still good to have.
if you're gonna fly, then he would have his office write me a note to say yes, she has a service dog,
Right.
and then they would let him on the plane.
Right. But you think about it too, though. I mean, I agree with that because I mean, it doesn't take much to do that. Just write the note, and
Right.
that probably would help you out so much,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just found it like when the dog like tried pull, I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
but now you see them everywhere. Now you see service dogs all the time, like, and for other reasons. The only thing I don't really understand,
Oh, I just lost
and
my
this is
headset.
I understand the service. Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Try again. Okay.
Can you
I
hear
had
me now?
lost my headset because it said the battery was dying.
Oh, well, like maybe that's the clue that we need to get going. So, no, the only thing I have a hard time, like, I understand service dogs, I understand even service cats, but when it comes to like a service monkey, or people like not to be mean, as cute as the monkey is, the monkey only knows how to rip off your face. So,
Right, exactly, and they will too. I've heard horror stories about little monkeys.
yeah, so like there's some service animals I don't think I'd want to have, but
Right.
I've seen service cats, even though cats do have kind of like their own personality. So because I know my cat used to be like so you fell on the ground, what am I supposed to do about it?
Yeah, they're talking about rain in Florida. Yeah, every time I go visit my daughter, I can never. Every time I hit near Jacksonville, it starts pouring down rain. Every time. That's why I don't ride my motorcycle down there.
Well, was there a moment, Rick, when you had like no rain in Miami? So, okay. Well, it was great having you on here, Angela.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I should probably walk Ted outside for him.
yeah. So
Let him go.
I'm gonna end the live. So then I just got a notification that Aaron is doing a live right now. So anybody that wants to go over to Aaron that isn't already there, go ahead and do so.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, I actually have 3 motorcycles, so I get to go downstairs and say, "Well, do I want to ride 3 wheels, ride my motorcycle, or ride my daughter's motorcycle?" Depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm not much of a. I probably should get a motorcycle, but I don't know. Probably easier than the car, I guess. I don't know. Knowing me, I'd
But,
probably
but
fall
well,
off.
well, it's,
I
well,
probably would fall
well,
off.
but it's better on gas. But you gotta look out for everybody else. Take care of yourself. I've had 2 motorcycle accidents. First one broke my left leg and my pelvis, and the second one shattered my right knee.
Mm.
So, my first motorcycle was totaled in that first accident. The second accident, the bike did not get any damage to it. It just destroyed my right knee.
Um,
So, they're fun, but you have to
but
look
you
out
gotta
for
be
everybody else.
careful. Yeah, yeah. My brother-in-law actually has a motorcycle. Matter of fact, he has an Italian bike. I forget the name of it, but it comes from Italy, but it's like from 1945 motorcycle.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously he doesn't ride it because he has it like
Right.
up on his garage wall. But yeah,
Somebody not far from here has a motorcycle. Looks like it's from the 1940s with a sidecar.
he doesn't have the sidecar, just the motor.
If I hadn't have bought the car that I just bought, I'd have bought that motorcycle
It's
because it's
pretty
just cool.
nostalgic, yeah. See, I have more of the personality of the guy in the sidecar. But I'm sure everybody on here would agree with, like, yeah, I can't see him riding a motorcycle. But then again, you never know. Carnivore changes you.
That's
So,
right.
so all right. So we're gonna end this now, guys. I keep on postponing the ending, but
I
live,
know.
love,
Can you
heal.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And for God's sakes, people, eat the meat. Trying to end the stream.